Welcome back to Surviving and Thriving, where we share with you the things that we have learned as we have transitioned our family from struggling to survive sickness and disease to thriving, right smack dab in the midst of it, in the hopes that something that we share with you will help you, enlighten you, maybe even encourage you as you transition your family from struggling to survive disease to thriving, right smack dab in the midst of it. So, the last some odd months, we've been talking about self love and the importance of self love so that you can do self care and do the things that you need to do to win this battle that you're in, right? And so, we've talked about different aspects of self love, but today we're going to talk about the importance of having standards, boundaries, setting up protections, right? Boundaries around yourself or fences. So I'm going to start off with a little story for you real quick. Is that okay? You like stories? I like stories. So here we go. Well, I got sent overseas for some stuff and I was going to be there for a little while. And I was married. I'd say not even a year. It was less than a year that I was married. And it was very common knowledge that when you get sent, right, everybody kind of go buck wild. And they do all kind of stuff that, they big enough to do, grown enough to do, but should not be doing. And it was kind of known that when you go out there, you get buck wild, but what goes there, everybody's supposed to keep it hush hush. And you come back and act like ain't nothing happened. I didn't like that. I didn't like that at all. Because, well, I'm not one to keep them kind of secrets. If you tipping on your spouse, don't let me know about it. Don't let me see it because I'm going to tell it. I do not betray people like that. I feel like if you're doing something and you don't want your spouse to know about it, don't tell me. Don't let me see it because I think that's the ultimate betrayal when other people are aware of something in your marriage and you're not, and everybody's acting like they don't know. And I don't want to be a part of that for anyone. And so I didn't like that whole thing, that was a common accepted thing. Well, it was my turn to go. And I knew I was going to be gone for a while, and I'm still a newlywed, right? And my husband, y'all know everybody and their mama. So I am aware that wherever I'm at and whatever I'm doing, I need to watch what I'm doing because it'll get back to my husband before I get to call him, right? Or before I can get back to him. So I went to where I needed to go and I was there for a few months, but I set some fences up for me. There were some things that I knew have my boundaries. I am not going to cross these lines. There are some things I am not going to do because I'm a newlywed and I want to be married for forever. This is a forever marriage and I want a good, healthy marriage and a trustworthy marriage, right? So I didn't want messy people to be able to have something to look like it was something to get back to my husband. So I set some fences up for myself, some parameters to keep me from crossing a line, whether advertently or inadvertently, right? To keep it so that it didn't even look like something could have possibly been going on that shouldn't have been going on. Does that make sense? I didn't want anything misconstrued, get back to my husband to cause a problem. So the fences I set up for myself was I had a female roommate and we did everything together and went everywhere together. I did not do anything without her because I didn't want to be caught walking with some guy by myself. I didn't want somebody to accuse or say something. I wanted an alibi and a witness at all times. So we were each other's witnesses. We kept each other clean. We stayed together. Everybody called us twins because you didn't see one without the other. Certain places we didn't go. Certain things we didn't partake in because we didn't want anything to look like something that it shouldn't have been. Well, I didn't, and I didn't want it to cause no problems back home, right? So I remember the pool was the place to go. Everybody's going to the pool parties almost every day. Now, I grew up swimming literally every day. I love to swim. One of my most favorite pastimes is swimming. I enjoy water. I love water. Always have. But the months that I was there, I did not go to the swimming pool, not even once. Not for group functions, for nothing. And the reason why is I'm way over yonders, right? I didn't want to be sitting up thinking about my husband staring off, looking into the water, just staring, thinking about my husband. and some big hunk of burning love come all out of the water, all glistening with water, water all on them or something like that. And somebody think I was staring at him when I didn't even see him. I was thinking about my husband, and they get back to my husband. Now I'm in a big fight. My marriage got issues for something like that. So I didn't even want that. So I wouldn't even go to the swimming pool. So for me, I had determined what I will and will not do. There are some lines that I'm not going to cross in my marriage. And then I set up some fences to protect me from crossing them lines. Y'all with me? Y'all following me? So we understand the difference between what a fence is. You understand what a fence is? And then we're talking about what I will and would not do. Those are my borders. Those are my boundaries. I raised up a standard. This is who I am, right? And I will not allow that standard to come down for anything. And I didn't have any issues. My husband didn't get any bad reports. There was nothing that looked like nothing because I didn't do nothing. And I've been happily married for over 23 years. Thank you, Jesus. Pray God to keep on rolling, right? Don't want to take that for granted. So that's what we're talking about today. Your wills and your will nots, and the things that you do to protect you, to make sure that you don't cross them lines from wills and will nots. Does that make sense? So when you're dealing with health issues, right, you definitely have to have some wills and will nots, right? There are some things I will not do because I don't want that result. And when you've been through some stuff and you know what some results are, you learn the hard way. That's bingo, the hard way, right? I ain't going back to that place. I'm not going back to there. I barely made it through, and we ain't trying to do that again. So there are some things that I absolutely will not do, right? Y'all remember some time ago, I was talking to you about how I had got so weak one time and the importance of getting up and moving around. I got so weak that I couldn't even stand up from being bedridden, or not stand up, sit up from being bedridden so long. I couldn't sit up. I had no muscles, no strength. And I told you guys how hard it was to be able to regain, to get to a place where I could sit up, and having to learn to walk again and do all these different things again. And you guys, sometimes the recovery is almost worse or as worse as what you went through. And so there's some places I will not go. So there are times when everything in me is saying, don't move, don't get up. But guess what? Sister girl gonna get up. I'm gonna sit in a chair. I'm gonna do something because I refuse to go back to that place. I refuse to go back to a place where I'm so weak that I have absolutely no strength, no muscle, no nothing in my body. And to build all that up is a lot. So I'm going to sit up. At least I'm going to get some muscles where I can sit up. I'm going to keep some level of strength. I'm not going to allow myself, no matter what I'm going through, no matter how bad it is, right? I'm going to get out the bed and go sit in a chair. I'm going to get up and go do something. I'm going to get up and walk myself to the bathroom. You may have to help me, but I'm going to do it by myself because I'm not going to allow my body to go there. So there's some things that you learn from experience. I ain't going there no more. I'm not doing that no more. And so when you set those boundaries and say, there's a place that I'm not going anymore, there are things that you do, right, to keep you from going back to that place, right? So you have to know your wills and will nots. You don't want to keep cycling around something and then wondering, how did I end up here again, right? So if you know if you eat them chips, they're going to cause a flare-up, don't eat the chips. Set them boundaries. I'm not going through a flare-up that I can avoid. If you have flare-ups, I'm not going through a flare-up that I can avoid. If I can avoid it, right, I'm not going to do it. Or you may know I can't eat that chip, but after 3 of them is too much. So know your limits, right? Now, me personally, there are some things that are not best for me to eat that I don't eat. There are some things that are not best for me to eat, but I nibble on it every now and again. But there is a difference. There are some things I may nibble on every now and again because I can nibble on it and put it down. There are some things that I know I can't nibble on and put it down. I have never been able to not eat a whole bag of Oreos. I know, don't tell nobody, that's my secret, okay? Don't tell nobody, shh, it's between us. I've never been able to not eat a whole bag of Oreos. So I don't even buy Oreos. It's been years, decades since I bought Oreos. And if on the chance my husband did buy Oreo, because he's maybe done it once or twice over these 23 years. I may take one out. Most times I won't even eat one because I know me. And if I get one, I usually get one when the bag is darn near empty. Because I know I don't have no self-restraint when it comes to Oreos. I know everybody got their weak spot. Something about that Oreo is my weak spot, right? So I don't do Oreos. Okay, now ain't nothing wrong with an Oreo. If you want an Oreo, go get you an Oreo. I'm talking about me, Tammy. Tammy can't do it, right? But then there's some other things that I know that I can nibble on, and then I can be able to put it down and it's okay, right? But I know that if I go crazy on certain things, that either immediately or in time, it's going to cause something bad to happen. That I can do something today and it may not have an immediate outside effect, but it starts a process that may show up later. I don't like them processes. I don't like when it show up later. So sometimes I look at stuff and say, it's not worth it today, right? So that's what we're talking about. You have to be able to do those type of things in your life. Know what lines you're willing to cross, what lines you are not willing to cross. And sometimes you got to set up some parameters to make sure you don't get close to crossing them. Okay. Now, everybody is different. Me, I need some fences on some things, right? I need some protections on some things to help me to not get to that line, to be able to cross it. But it goes even beyond what you're eating, or if you're exercising or taking your vitamins or your herbs or, your medication. Sometimes it goes even beyond that, right? It can go into people in your lives, right? When you're going through health issues, the last thing you need is drama and trauma, because you already got enough of that. Life affords you a lot of that, whether you want it or not. So why are you going to invite some drama and trauma in? So you may have to determine that, when your phone ring, I'm going to tell y'all a secret. A lot of people don't know this. You want to hear it? I'm going to give it to you for free. It's just me and you, right? Here it goes. You don't have to answer your phone. That's what caller ID is for. Can you believe that? Just because your phone rang don't mean you have to answer it. Just because somebody texts you don't even mean you got to read the text, right? Some people smart like me. I don't even give my cell phone number out. You can have my landline because I don't answer it all that much. I don't, but my cell phone is only for my husband and my kids. That's it, because they're the only ones that need to be able to have contact with me 24/7. Everybody else, you can line up and I'll deal with you when I'm ready to. You have got to be able to watch who you allow in and when you allow them in. Don't deal with toxic people. Keep toxic people out of your life. Now, sometimes you can't avoid dealing with toxic people. There are some toxic people that you got to deal with in the medical world. And I got to see them, every so often because I got to deal with them. There's some people I got to deal with on a weekly basis that I don't particularly care for, right? But I limit that. And if I have to deal with them, I'm nice, I'm gentle, right? But I don't let you in but so far. Conversation's only going to be so much. It's going to be sweet. I ain't going to have attitude with you, but it's only going to go so far, right? So you have to be able to guard who you let in and who you don't let in. Okay? And what's important with that is you got to be able to call it what it is. If they toxic, call them toxic. If they bring drama, say they bring drama. If they're a downer, my papa used to call them downer. Get that downer up out of here. If they're a downer, every time they come around, they bring you down. Every time you get off the phone with them, you can't figure out why you down and depressed. Every time they come around, the good mood doesn't change. They a downer. If you got downers, keep downers out of your life, right? Because a lot of what you're going through give you a lot of opportunities to be down. Why do you need somebody else to help bring you down? You don't need nobody else to help bring you down, right? So you got to be able to call people for what they are and who they are to you and in your life, no matter how close they are, no matter how much you love them. I got to tell you, there's some people that I love dearly that I never thought I'd be able to cut out of my life. And I didn't want to cut them out of my life, but they were toxic. They were toxic to my marriage. They were toxic to the woman of God that I was trying to be. And no matter how much I love them, you guys, and no matter how painful it was, right? I have very little dealings with them. Very little. And when I was able to break free from them, my marriage flourished. I began to flourish. And they didn't have this invisible control. And maybe not even control. I just didn't know how to stand up underneath them. And no matter how I tried to stand up, whatever they were giving at me, it seeps in. You can be the most positive person in the world. Keep hanging around the downer, right? And your positivity, and you can be guarding against it, but it seeps and it contaminates. And they were seeping and contaminating. So I had to get rid of them. Keep contaminators out of your life. You got to be free. You got to be free, because I've told you many times, all them nasty feelings on the inside is not conducive for life and health. It will cause health issues, and it will take away from all the positive things that you're doing to try to bring about health in life. So you got to keep that stuff out of you. Watch what you put in your ears and watch what you put in your eyes, right? I was at a medical facility the other day and somebody put on some music and I didn't like how I felt because of the music. I don't listen to nobody cuss me out. Now, I like different types of music and I enjoy music, but I'm not going to sit up there and listen to nobody cuss me out. I don't like hearing it. I don't like how it make me feel. So we're in a medical facility. People are doing some serious medical things where I was. It was a serious situation. Why are you listening to something like that? That is not conducive for life, and that is not conducive for health. So watch what comes in your ears. Set up boundaries. There are certain things I will not watch. Why am I going to watch somebody sit up that's a mom dying of some disease or something like that with all these little babies? I'm a mother. I got a whole bunch of children. I don't need that. That's life story. I don't need that. I'm not dying. I'm living. They dying. But why am I going to put that in my eyes? And then I'm start thinking and identifying with that, and it takes me somewhere I don't need to go. So I set up boundaries to keep me focused, to keep me where I'm going. So certain things you don't need to watch. You don't need to watch anything that's going to have you tight and tied up on the inside. Life affords you enough of that. Why are you going to put yourself through that voluntarily? Whatever you put in your eyes need to be uplifting, encouraging, might make you laugh, feel good. Those are the kind of things you need to put in your eyes, but you do not need to put something in your eyes that's going to have you all a nervous wreck or have you scared out your mind or, have you all tight and tense and stressed out or have you boo-hooing and crying. Don't put that stuff in there. You got to set some standards, some I wills and I won'ts. I will go here and I won't go there, right? And then do things to bring that about so that it won't happen. It's so important for you to be able to love yourself. And in loving yourself means that you set up parameters. I love myself so much. There are certain things I'm not going to do to myself. And I ain't all in love with myself like I just think I'm all of that. But I love who I am, who God created me to be, even though there's a lot about me I don't like, right? But I love me, just like I love my kids, just like I love my husband. I love me. I love me enough that I eat healthy foods. Now, do I always eat healthy foods? No, there's some stuff that ain't healthy that I actually like, and I try to limit it. Not always good at it, but I'm better than I used to be when I used to eat them bags of Oreos, right? But you got to love yourself enough to say there's some things that I won't allow myself to go through. There's some drama and some trauma that I will keep from me if I don't have to go through it. I love myself enough to create a good environment that's conducive for enjoying life and conducive for health. I'm trying to live the best life possible, and I cannot live the best life possible with a whole bunch of drama. That's what you have to tell yourself, right? I love myself enough to protect myself from isms and schisms. I love myself enough to protect myself, right, from hospitalizations if I can avoid it, from flare-ups if I can avoid it, right? So you do the things that you need to do for life. And sometimes loving yourself means there are things that you say that you will do that you don't want to do. That sounds kind of crazy, right? I don't want to exercise. That may be what someone is saying. I don't like sweating. I don't like going to the gym. Now I do, but somebody may be feeling like they don't. And I don't always feel like going to the gym, right? But you may feel like you don't want to exercise. But you need to exercise because you need to keep that heart strong, right? So what do? You get up and you go for a walk. You join a gym. You swim. You lift weights, right? You do that. What it used to come on PBS, that sitting down, that sit and be fit. There you go, right? Do some sit and be fit, right? Or some of that, what's that, what's his name? With the oldies, sweating with the oldies, right? That's a lot of fun. So you get up and you do something anyway. Why? Because you know you need to do it. That's also raising up a standard, right? To say that it's not all about the don't. Sometimes it's about the do's. I will do this, even if I don't want to do this, right? Because I'm not going to go here. Because I love myself enough to do what's best for myself there. Okay? Hope you guys had something in there that can help you, that can encourage you and help you to keep going. It's not always easy to raise up standards. But what I will tell you is that what standards do is it elevates your life. It helps you to enjoy life more. It helps you to get to where you're trying to go to faster because you don't have all the detours in life. And you need to know that you're worth raising up a standard, right? I'm sure you've heard this, or you may even tell your children like I tell my children, right? You're better than that. That's teaching them standards in life. So sometimes you have to look at yourself and say, you know what? I'm better than that. I'm better than that flare up. I'm better than this. So I don't have to go through that flare up, right? Because there's certain things that I can do to make sure I don't go through it. Hope something in there was helpful for you. Remember, in all things, at all times, do you. Until next time. Bye.